Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we are doing 1983's Scarface. And if you didn't see the timestamp, this is going to be a long one.
What are you, nuts?
And before we get into it, if you want to follow me or Corey on Twitter, you could follow me at Junior D's. You could follow Corey at Idle Poncho. And we'll let this be known that this was a request. This is for our girl Steph. So there you go.
Yeah, you're pretty much our benefactor at this point.
Second thing is I actually watched this on the double VHS. If anybody knows what these are.
That's respect. I gotta say respect. What's funny is 20 years ago, if you were like, hey, watch Scarface on VHS, it'd be like, what are you, poor? That's gross. Nowadays, it's like, yo, baller move.
Dude, I went retro.
I dig it.
I went retro with it. You know,
That's
plus
it gives you
because there's two VHS tapes, it gives you a little break in between, like in the middle of the movie. You just get
we also doing bumps off the toilet seat.
I mean, you might as well go big or go home, right? So
100%.
Let's get into the cast of Scarface, 1983. This film stars Al Pacino as Tony Montana, Michelle Pfeiffer as Elvira, Stephen Bauer as Manny Ribera, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio as Gina, Robert Loggia as Frank Lopez, F. Murray Abraham as Omar, and Peter Shenar as Alejandro Sosa.
And a quick shout out if you haven't seen Mythic Quest on Apple TV.
Yes.
Rob McElhenney, one of the guys from Always Sunny's new show, F. Murray Abraham plays a role in that.
Yes.
You want to get an idea of how good of an actor this dude really is? Watch Scarface and then watch Mythic Quest.
Yes. He's so good.
You will understand why we constantly say we can't act. Because I could not be that guy.
Yes. I also
amazing.
believe, I forget the role he plays, but I also believe he was in Amadeus as well.
Oh, yeah, totally.
This dude is one of my favorite actors of all time. So underrated. But the dude's in everything.
Yes.
So.
And same goes for Robert Loggia.
Yeah. Robert Loggia.
You act like goddamn Robert Loggia used to act.
You play football like a Gennaro played football. He was a 140-pound halfback, and he played like a goddamn wild man.
And let's get into this movie because this one's a long one, and we need to try to. We don't really have time constraints, but we'll try to keep it in some sort of time constraint on this one. But this movie starts off in May of 1980. With other Cuban refugees, Tony Montana seeks asylum in the United States. And this whole scene is so good. And when they ask him where he got the scar.
Where'd you get the beauty scar, tough guy? Eating pussy?
How am I going to get a scar like that eating pussy?
His wit is so great in this. And it's so disarming to the psychopath that he really is.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Because he constantly has that smile. He's so fucking charming. He's so fucking witty and funny that you don't even really grasp what is laying inside that head. It's phenomenal.
Yes. And also, and I know you brought up Robert Loggia, but I'll bring up Al Pacino and some others in this movie. It also proves that Italians are versatile. We could play any nationality in the world.
That's pretty much been a theme on this show, and I also commented. Your beautiful goddamn olive oil skin allows you to be anywhere, anybody, at any time. Meanwhile, people like me are mistaken for ghosts.
You're goddamn right.
I just got back from auditioning as Sick Kid #2. So
at the border patrol or whatever, Tony and his best friend Manny get sent to Freedom Town, where other Cubans are held. It's under the I-95 expressway in Miami.
Yeah, dude, I think
And
like I saw Devonta Friga playing like fucking games, pickup basketball games on a YouTube show.
they get help getting out after killing a former aide to Fidel Castro, and they do this for Frank Lopez. Tony and Manny get out and get work as dishwashers after they get their green cards, and soon after they get another job from Frank Lopez. The offer comes from Omar, one of Lopez's henchmen, who Tony has an issue with immediately.
Oh yeah, they do not get along. There's dick measuring. Every time somebody basically meets Tony, if he thinks possibly you are even close to his level, he just takes out his dick and just throws it on your forehead. And he's like, "Your move, jackass."
Here's
That's what the whole thing is.
You get a mushroom print, and you get a mushroom print. Everybody gets a mushroom print. So the job that they get is to exchange cash for coke to some Colombians. Tony's got an issue because he doesn't like Colombians, and
and they automatically kind of set it up where, at least this is what I saw, Omar is giving him this job because they know it's a shit job.
yeah, well, they initially give him a job to him and Manny a job to unload weed off of a boat or something.
Yeah.
And Tony's like, yeah, now fuck all that noise. Like, first of all, that's not how much you pay for that job. I know how much that job's worth, and you're a cockhole. And he's like, oh, you think you're big man?
Okay. Hey, all right, big man. You want to make some big bucks. Let's see how tough you are.
His guy sitting next to him, his driver, Omar's driver at this point, kind of whispers to him like, oh, the Colombians. And then he goes, oh, yeah, I got a job for you, bitch. That's why it kind of made me think like, he said he knows there's something fishy about this, that he doesn't want to do this himself.
Yes. They go to exchange the coke. Tony and Angel go up to the hotel room to make this exchange. Well, Manny and Chi-Chi, by the way, Chi-Chi, my favorite character, they wait in the car on the street and basically just trail for tail. When this scene happened, you see Tony and Angel go up to do this exchange with the Colombians, and Manny's in the car and he's like, hey, baby, come on. He's talking to every girl that passes. And for a split second, I was like, oh, that's me and Corey. I'm the guy that's going to get chopped in half with a chainsaw, and Corey's out there looking for ass.
That is 100% accurate. Where Manny and Corey separate here is Manny looked at his watch and went, oh shit, it's time to go. Let's go.
Yes.
I'd have been like, hey baby, what's your name? Fuck that watch checking shit.
After Tony meets Hector, the Colombian, the meeting goes south pretty quickly. And Hector and Tony each try to slow roll each other. And then the Colombians try to double cross Tony. They take Angel into the bathroom. This is where you get the chainsaw. They take Tony hostage, and they basically brutalize Angel in the bathroom, and they dismember him.
Brutalized is not really what I would call this.
Yes. No, they
massacre this dude with a fucking chainsaw.
Yes.
A limb at a time.
Yes. And as they force Tony to watch, and then Tony's about to get the chainsaw treatment here and is saved by Chi-Chi and Manny, who get there, gun down the room of Colombians. Hector gets away, which, by the way, this is the best escape ever. He's using the chainsaw to cut through windows and doors, and it's the best escape until he goes out the window and tumbles a story or two down and breaks his leg.
Amazing, dude. He looks like fucking Leatherface at the end of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes. He
is just chainsawing his way through this entire motel until he gets onto the street. And this is where we come into a few PSAs. PSA number one. Hi, Schitt's Creek's fans. Uncle Corey here. If you're like, let's stay in a motel, that looks charming and fun, and they did it on Schitt's Creek. Guess what? This scene is more what staying in a motel is like. Do not stay in a motel if you have any choice whatsoever.
Yeah, if a quick piece of advice to tag onto that.
Yeah.
If you stay anywhere where the bedroom door opens to the world, that's not a great place to stay. Just throwing that out there.
No. No, never. PSA number 2. Hi, would-be drug people. If you are set to do a drug deal and the guy you're doing the deal with places himself between you and the door, which is the only point of egress you have, immediately get the fuck out of that room. Whatever you have to do, start killing everybody in there and get out.
Yes.
That is not a good situation. We talk on this show all the time about situational awareness. That's it.
Yep.
That is it, cousin. Third one, I think. Hi, also, would-be drug people. If you're setting someone up for a robbery/murder and you don't actually intend on giving them cocaine, one, probably just get to business. This guy likes talking a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And proving that, like, oh, I beat you in my chainsaw and this is what we're going to do. He could have had this whole thing done in no time. He already knew. He knows where the money is because they come out and, like, they have that little exchange where he's like, where's the money? Ah, it's close. Is it in the car? No, it's not in the car. As soon as the car horn honks, Al Pacino looks. Dude knows immediately, we got you. It's in the fucking car.
Yeah.
At that point, finish your fucking meal, go get your money, and go home.
Yes.
Quit talking shit and fucking don't play with chainsaws, for Christ's sakes.
Who is he, Fred Durst?
I hope you know I pack a chainsaw. Get your ass raw.
Hector escapes. Tony kills him in the middle of the street. They get away with the money and the coke. And then Tony and Manny get taken to meet Frank Lopez, who takes an immediate liking to Tony, even though Tony can't keep his tongue in his fucking mouth after seeing Frank's wife, Elvira. Here's a quick don't do that. If you're in the game, don't do what Tony does here. You're in the boss's house, and you're talking about, coke deals, this, that, and the other, and, big moves and big tings and all that stuff. And then his wife comes down, and you turn into, like, the old Warner Brothers, like, wolf.
Diamond ring, I want some bracelets and everything. Daddy, you better get the best for me.
The boss will kill you. Just FYI, when you make it that obvious, the boss
a
will
normal
kill
boss
you.
will kill you.
Yeah.
This boss is a fucking chooch and a half.
I was gonna say, this dude is like the biggest simp of all time, as far as
Oh my
like drug
God,
lords
right?
go.
And by the way, Tony's approach here, like, it's kind of baller throughout this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the most baller move he makes, I know I'm skipping way ahead here, but I can't hold it in anymore because, hi, simps. If you want to know how to maybe pick up a lady, not all ladies, but watch what he does here. Not the showing off the money and the cars, but he shows up at the house when she's next to the pool. He says, hey, let's have a drink. Pushes the bar cart in front of her and says, come on, make me a scotch, huh? That shit is the most baller shit I've ever seen in my life. And guess what? She got up and did it.
Tony then goes to his mother's house here because he hasn't seen them in like 5 years, and he wants to show his mom and his sister how successful he's become, give them money. And his mother isn't having any of this shit, isn't impressed, wants nothing to do with them. Although his sister wants to have a relationship with him, as does Tony with her. And from the looks of it, a very unhealthy kind of like Pornhub relationship. You get that vibe from like, hey, step bro, like you get that kind of vibe. From
Yeah,
it.
like there's such a great distance between the two scenes.
Yes.
But if you put this scene up to Gina's final scene in the movie, it kind of is like, yeah, I think he does want to fuck his sister.
yeah, it's
Because my sisters and I have very close relationships. We ain't never been that close and look at each other and touch, like, there's some weird shit going on here.
speaking from the child of immigrants.
Mhm.
Okay. I know plenty of other children of immigrants. That's who I grew up with. We're all very close family-wise, brothers and
Sure.
sisters and blah, blah, blah. To this day, still very close with my brother and my sister. Never once have we like, there's no like face caressing. There's none of that. I understand that like, immigrants and people from other countries aren't as prude as white people,
Right.
but it doesn't extend into like your brothers and sisters. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I understand that most of us cracker-looking motherfuckers just kind of shake hands and maybe a pat on the back during Christmas, but
Yeah.
like even just the way Tony looks at her,
It's just weird.
he's bewitched.
Yeah.
I mean, he is truly bewitched by her, and
Yep.
he doesn't. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's
And the
odd,
protective
but-
shit, like that's different. Like when
No,
he starts taking the guy, throwing him out of the fucking toilet,
Yeah.
freaking out over Manny,
And that's-
talking about. I get that.
Later, Tony's sent to Bolivia to help Omar set up a distribution deal with Alex Sosa for the purchase of like 200 kilos of coke. And Tony's supposed to let Omar do all of the talking, but then he quickly steps in and sets up a massive distribution deal with Sosa. And Omar is pissed and can't hold back and just like lays into Tony here.
Yeah, and this again, I think this plays a lot into situational awareness because instead of being concerned about Tony, Omar should have been watching what was happened when Sosa left.
Yes, when he goes and gets the phone call.
Because if you're in a meeting like that,
Yep.
only something ridiculously important, especially if you're being hosted, they're not
Yeah.
going to insult you by getting up and walking away to answer a phone call. When he gets up and walk away, Omar's first thought should have been, where the fuck is he going? And watching him and having a conversation when nobody takes a phone call. They just
Yes.
hold the phone.
Yeah. You have a phone call.
Yeah, fam, you're in deep shit. At that point, this is when you need to know something is going very wrong with this whole deal. But instead, like you said, he blows up on Tony.
Montana, what the fuck's the matter with you? You negotiating for Frank Lopez?
Even if Omar's not a snitch, he's bad at his job because you shouldn't be having this discussion
In
out
front
in
of
public
others.
like this,
Yes.
let alone the guy who's hosting you.
Yes.
This
This
shit
is-
you take backdoor and
Yes.
just like, hey, can you give us a fucking minute?
yeah.
And then you and Tony walk away and one of you is not coming back.
Yeah.
That's how that conversation's going to go.
This isn't exclusive to just like the mafia. All of organized crime has the don't air your dirty laundry in public rule. Whether people follow it or not is a completely different
I mean,
thing.
Every family should have this.
Yeah, exactly.
Get your
But-
shit off of fucking Facebook and handle that shit internally like a real goddamn family.
Only Corey could take Scarface and compare it to what's going on Facebook. I like it.
Oh, you're fucking A right. I got days of material on that.
A few minutes later, Sosa hands Tony binoculars, and Tony sees Omar getting hung out of Sosa's helicopter. And Sosa tells Tony that one of his boys recognized Omar as being an informant for the cops from like New York years ago. And Tony gives like the best response, like, I never liked that guy anyway. Like, it's like the best response ever.
It's funny because he looks like he's like getting a little bit like excited, like, I'm nervous. For the first time, he seems like he's shaky. Like, first off, I never trusted that guy. I didn't like that fucking guy. I didn't even know that fucking guy's name. What'd you say it was? Omar? Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah,
Bullshit,
sure.
his name was Omar. That dude's name was Fred. I saw him 3 weeks ago. Bullshit. Totally different family. But then he kind of like, once he gets questioned about being a rat,
Yeah.
then it's done. Like he's done fucking around with Sosa and he gets back to being Tony.
Yeah.
And like, you don't and it has, again, one of the best lines from one of the most quotable movies of all time.
All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one.
If I was Sosa, I would be sitting there like, yo, did you seriously just come up with that on the spot? Because that's fucking amazing, dude.
By the way, stealing that from you.
Yeah, like, have you used that? If you're telling me this is the first fucking time you've ever used that, I'm giving you $18 million right now.
When Tony gets back to Florida, Frank loses his shit about the deal that Tony put together, but Frank is worried about paying Sosa the $18 million up front. And I got a question here. You own a Mercedes dealership, I'm sure with other business ventures, and you're one of the biggest Coke distributors in Florida. Pretty sure you got the money, but he's like, I don't know. What if I don't have the five? What if I only have 6 and 5 million? And Tony's like, dude, stop it. I'll get out on the street. I'll make some moves. Oh, you're making moves? Like, there's this whole exchange where Robert Loggia is so pissed and uncomfortable because
he's terrified.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to. This is where he gives Tony the the people that make it in this business are people that don't crave the money and the power and the attention and all that shit. They don't want to be flashy. And those people don't last long. He just wants to be under the radar, like he's like I want to be a nice drug dealer. Like a non-confrontational drug dealer.
Yeah, and my advice to him is stick to weed.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you're in the wrong game for being that kind. Like,
yeah,
these guys, this is Major League Baseball, bitch.
Yeah.
If you can't hit 100-mile-an-hour fastball, you need to get the fuck out of town.
I buried those cockroaches.
And I love the performance is brilliant by Robert Loggia.
Oh, absolutely.
You can hear the shaking in his voice.
Yeah.
You can see him, like, every time trying to think what Tony's saying and trying to figure a way out of it, because he knows he's not that guy, and he doesn't want to play at that level. And you see that coming up when he puts the hit out on Tony.
Yes.
Because it gets fucked up.
Yeah.
And you know why it gets fucked up? Fucking Uzis. But we'll get into that in a minute.
Dude, there's Uzis all through this movie, man. I'm just telling you.
We skipped over it with the hotel scene with the Colombians initially. But when Manny comes in there with the Uzi, the only time it's necessary or a worthwhile weapon.
Oh, up close.
Is when he comes in there with the Uzi. Because he's just spraying shit, and there's so many people in that tiny room that spraying shit is what you want to do.
Frank here isn't happy with Tony. He attempts to take Tony out at the Babylon nightclub that night. And two things. Tony's shaken down by the Miami detective, Mel Bernstein here. And he proposes to tax Tony on transactions in return for police protection and information and yada yada. And then Tony then is just, there's a lot going on in this scene, by the way.
Hi, anybody trying to shake anybody in the underworld. If you want to look creepy, like Joker creepy, drink fucking milk at the negotiation table.
Yes, what was that
shit
about?
is scary as Humpty Dumpty doing his dancing.
Speaking
of which,
that's psycho.
What the fuck was that monstrosity walking around on stage and dancing and waving? That was like top 5 nightmares for me all time.
Okay.
What the shit is that thing? Was that the Babadook?
I was going to say this thing turned into a horror movie quickly. Tony's distracted after this whole shakedown with the police. Tony's distracted by Gina dancing with some local drug dealer. He follows the two into the restroom stall where he loses his shit, smacks the fuck out of her, asks Manny to take her home.
If I can, just as far as kink shaming goes, we don't do that on this show.
No, not at all.
Do what you want.
Hey.
Do whatever you want. However, the bathroom stall, the public bathroom,
that move,
any establishment.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
If you're a guy, it's not, look, I know sometimes all you can think about is getting that thing out of you. I understand. Better than most. However, that's not cool. I don't care. I don't care if it's a fucking lot lizard or a goddamn Queen of England. Don't fuck her in a public toilet. It's fucking disgusting.
Corey just wants to get the poison out. He understands. He understands your plight. He asks Manny here to take her home. On the way home, Gina admits that she's attracted to Manny. Manny tries his, for somebody who's all about that ass, he tries his best to stop that and nip that in the butt.
I feel really bad for him here too, because like, what did you expect to happen? I get it. Can't help who you fall in love with. He seems to genuinely be in love with her. She seems to genuinely be in love with him. It's dude.
But
don't do if you
with
want
that
the
being-
ultimate, don't do that at this show. Just don't date your fucking boy's sister.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, this is how I know not to date Gina if I'm Manny. When they leave Tony's mother's house and he gets in the car and he's like,
Yep.
oh, she's beautiful, whatever. Not only the look that Tony gives him, but when you hear the keyboard,
Stay away from her.
I don't even think that was part of the score. I think that noise came out of Tony's face. Like, when you see the eyes and he's like, don't you ever fucking look at her, don't you touch her, this, that, and the other. And he was just like, whoa, pump the brakes there. That's more than a pump the brakes moment. That's oh, my boy's a psycho. I kind of know that, but it's confirmed now. And I will never touch this bitch, ever. We cut back to the club, and Tony is attacked by two hitmen, but manages to escape by pushing the monstrosity, I don't know, claymation head guy in front of him.
I wanted to hear that monster being shot, because I know that got cut. Part of the X rating, I'm sure. But that thing had to sound like fucking Sloth from Goonies. I had a whole story going on for this fucking monster. It was fantastic.
I'm sure you did. The next scene is Tony asking one of his bodyguards to call Frank after Tony gets to Frank's office at 3 a.m. to let him know that they failed, they fucked up, and Tony got away. So Tony, Manny, and Chi-Chi visit Frank at his car dealership's back office. He's with Detective Bernstein. Nick calls Frank, who confirms his involvement by playing it off like it's Elvira calling him or whatever.
Yep.
And when it's obvious that Tony knows what's going on here and he's going to kill him, you talk about a simp. Frank begs for his life, begs for Tony's forgiveness, telling him that he'll give him his wife and $10 million if he doesn't kill him.
Dude, I'm pretty sure Frank was ready to take a shot in the back of the throat.
Two. One from Tony and one from Manny, because Manny was like, man, I think I could take advantage of this situation.
Dude, bury me in the room's DNA was his entire aura. I don't care what you use me like you've never used anything before. Just don't fucking kill me.
Yes.
And at some point, like, look, man, again, you batted outside of your league.
Yeah.
You knew you weren't that guy, but you fucking did it anyway because you got pissed and you were drunk and fucking ran right the fuck out.
Yep.
And this, again, like, I know he wasn't using like Tony does, but they talk about it a few times here about getting high on your own supply.
Yes.
You as the boss can never be fucking drunk.
Yes.
Let alone a goddamn alcoholic like Frank is.
Yes.
You can't do it.
No. You have
because
to
will
be
get the better of you.
Yeah.
Listen to dude, Biggie told you in the 10 Crack Commandments.
Yes,
you
he
can't
did.
do it.
Yes. The best part is here, Tony is like, cool story, bro. I ain't gonna kill you, Frank. And then as he walks away, he tells Manny, shoot this piece of shit. He goes to the detective. Detective's all trying to play it cool. Tony's like, yeah, dope. And he kills him too. But then we get the montage of everything is going well with Tony. Tony and Sosa are making money. Tony's getting married to Elvira. He finally buys the tiger that he's always wanted for his backyard. And he even got his sister a salon of her own so she can cut hair. And
yeah, a couple things. One, I feel like you did not do this even remotely close to the justice it deserves when you introduced it. This is the best fucking montage in movie history.
Period. It's long. It's a long montage.
It's the entire song.
Yeah.
But it's the entire song of Take It to the Limit.
Take it to the limit.
I guarantee you, if you have never seen this movie, which I don't know how that's possible, but
Yeah.
whatever. There are some people that just don't get out there and do things. But if you've never seen this movie, you have seen this montage mocked somewhere at some time.
Oh, yeah.
And have just been like, oh, that song was funny. This is where they took it from, and
Yes.
it was for real.
Yes, it was serious.
You were literally watching Tony through this montage take it to the limit.
This is as good as it gets. And there's a whole second part to this movie, which is things starting to go downhill as everyone's blasting coke every 4 seconds. Elvira is sick of her life with Tony, and then Tony starts to run into money problems as his banker is trying to take advantage of him by charging him more to launder his money.
Yeah, and I think really Brian De Palma did a fantastic job with these scenes from this point forward, where we start to see him spiraling downward.
Yes.
And they really demonstrate it. And you can see how Tony's life is really going through this movie with how he's treating Elvira.
Yes.
Because he is obsessed with her. He's in love with her. She is the only person outside of his mom and his sister that he treats with any kind of regular decency.
Yes.
Let alone trying to actually, take care of her, give her what she wants, and taking all of the shit that she's throwing at him the entire time.
Yeah.
Because she's trying to make it very clear she doesn't give a fuck. The way he goes into treating her, talking to her, not spoiling her, you know what I mean?
The whole scene of them.
Amazing.
Yeah, the whole scene of them in the bedroom when he's in the hot tub and they're having that interaction.
Yes.
And that's the perfect example of, because that's where it really starts going downhill.
Like she breaks his balls like she's always done. Nothing is different about how she talks to him.
Yeah.
And everything is different about how he talks to her. It's amazing how they demonstrated that.
Manny gets a meeting with Mel Seidelbaum to help Tony launder his money at a lower rate than the bank. And soon thereafter, Tony gets busted because Seidelbaum is an undercover cop. Here's a don't do that for everybody. Hi, possible drug lords out there. If, your bank or whoever you're laundering your money from is like, hey, we're going to charge you 10 points on all your money and yada, yada, this, that, and the third. And you're like, dude, you're just trying to take advantage of me. Yes, because you're making, I don't know what, $80 million a month. And you got to wash the money somehow. And yes, they will take advantage of you. So instead of, $70 million that you're going to clear, it's now 60. I think you'll make do. And you'll take it because you have to. Don't go the Walmart route here. Like, he didn't even go Walmart laundering money guy. He went to like the Aldi's laundering money guy. It was like the knockoff Oreo cookie guy that he went to launder his money through. Don't go to that guy because they show in this scene when they're counting the money, A, they can't count. B, they're really bad at what they do. And you're in this like dirty basement. At least in the bank, you're in a well-lit, nice building. You gotta, you gotta pay premiums for that.
What are you, nuts?
If you're a criminal, you have to understand one basic principle. The government doesn't care as long as they're getting theirs.
Exactly.
So for the love of Christ, pay your fucking percentages, pay your goddamn taxes, and shut the fuck up about it and be happy. And even Tony's defense attorney says, I can get you out of the money laundering. You'll walk. However, they got you on tax evasion. You are gonna do 5 years, 3 with good behavior.
Yes.
There's zero more evidence you need than who runs shit and who not to fuck with.
And then Sosa brings him down to Bolivia, where he introduces him to his cocaine board of directors. And he tells him if he helps them kill this Bolivian journalist who's trying to expose, the government's involvement in drug trafficking and yada, yada, he said that he and his board will make his legal problems go away. He'll only have to pay some like back taxes and a fine.
Yes. And again, I like how De Palma did this, where he didn't just put a face with the name of Sosa or the general. He
Yeah.
gave you a face of the U.S. government.
Yes.
Fucking goddamn Whitey Whiterson right there, full frontal, blonde hair, blue-eyed, Hitler jerking off behind him.
Nice to
Here
meet you,
is the
Mr. Montana.
Here is the U.S. government. Here's the Bolivian government.
Yes.
Here's this General Sosa, blah, blah, blah. I thought that was brilliant how they did it.
Yes. No, absolutely. Back at the ranch, Tony's marriage finally comes to an end in an altercation at this restaurant. Elvira has her blow up, and a coked out and drunk Tony loses his mind as all the rich white people are aghast of people being louder than a whisper. And then Tony gives his coke and alcohol fueled monologue, which is one of the most iconic monologues of all time.
That monologue is the monologue of the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And what's awesome about it is he is 100% right.
Oh, absolutely.
If you think there is a rich person who earned that money, I'm not talking about the douchebags that get it passed down to them through trust funds and that kind of shit.
Yeah.
The first people that earn that money. If you think their hands are clean or they're any different than Tony Montana, how does it feel to belong to the cult?
Yes, exactly.
Because holy shit, have you bought in? They're all dirty.
Yeah.
They just need Tony to be that guy.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
And my favorite part of it is after the monologue, as he's walking out and he's drunk weaving down the hallway. Yeah. And he's like, everybody look out, make way for the bad guy.
Make way for the bad guy. There's a bad guy coming through.
Because monologues like this don't just, a drunk coke-fueled monologue, don't just end there. He continues it down the hallway. And then Tony travels to New York to kill this journalist, but things go sideways as Alberto, the hitman, places the bomb under the journalist's car, but Tony's the nice drug kingpin here, and when he sees the dude and his wife and kids in the car, he doesn't want to go through with it. He shoots Alberto in the car instead.
Two things real quick. One, they could have assassinated this dude and his whole family by just tapping the back bumper on that piece of shit car they were driving. That motherfucker was a gasoline-fueled bomb waiting to be tapped by something in New York City, by the way, before it exploded all over everybody. And two, the amount of fucking C4 they mounted onto this car. Are you trying to blow up the entire UN? Like,
well, here's the
Fuck?
problem.
That's overkill.
Here's the problem I have.
Beyond overkill.
The problem that I have isn't even the overkill. Because the overkill's part of it. Because they want, he says, dude, there's so many pieces in this like 5-minute scene or series of scenes that you could kill this guy and he doesn't give the speech and he doesn't go to the UN and yada yada. But Sosa not only wants this big production, you know, they want enough C4 to blow up a city block. They want to do it in front of the UN, and that's why they're following him and yada, yada. They could have killed the guy the night before. They could have killed the guy when he first gets into the car in the morning. There was plenty of times where they could have killed this dude, accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, and be done with it. But Sosa and his, band of, evil coke board of thieves want to have it done, in this big spectacle in front of the UN. When in reality, those people, meaning drug dealers, organized crime, they do that shit on the sly.
Yeah,
that dude,
exactly.
that dude gets choked out in an alley as he's leaving his car or whatever. So this is as much as everything is like, oh, this is on Tony, just go through with it. This is on Sosa. Like, you don't have to get a big production.
No, you're 100% right. And especially something like, there's a few hits here throughout where they're real extravagant. It's like, there's some tact and elegance do come into play.
Yeah.
from time to time. You just want to get the job done.
Exactly.
Proving a point is shit like the IRA does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we are not fighting for freedom.
Yeah.
We're trying to sell drugs, motherfucker. We're just trying to get this dude dead.
We're just trying to make things simple. Just let me sell my drugs and I'm good. When back in Miami, Tony visits his mother again because she calls him 4,500 times while he's out of town. And she tells him about Gina's disappearance, her being disrespectful, and his mom gives Tony the address of a house that Gina's been going to. Tony gets into his car and has his driver take him to the house. And much to Tony's surprise, Manny opens the door in his bathrobe. I have one question here. This is your boy. Like, I know you're paranoid. You haven't left the house. You know, it's basically you in your house doing, you know, business things and drug things. You don't know where Manny lives?
That's okay, no big deal.
As soon as he got the address from his mom, he should have been like, yo, take me to Manny's house. But he's completely shocked and in awe that this is Manny's, you know, mansion that he lives in. He then sees Gina in a nightgown at the top of the stairs. He loses his shit. He kills Manny. Gina comes down in hysterics. She tells Tony that they were just married a couple of days ago. They were going to surprise him. And then Tony's bodyguards whisk Tony and the hysterical Gina back to Tony's house.
And I have a question here. Not so much. I do have questions about why Gina and Manny thought it would be a good fucking idea to surprise Tony like this. Because you're dumb.
Yes.
But my question, I kind of go back and I think I got to do it again. Hi, moms. Uncle Corey, if you have booted your son out, you've called him a murderer, a piece of shit, and all that stuff, and then you need his help, when he comes over to get help, don't keep fucking insulting him.
Yes.
His mother, she's like, oh, she's going to this house. Well, haven't you gone there, Mom? Well, I would, but she's like you. She'll kill me. Well, first off, bitch, I ain't never laid a motherfucking hand on you. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You got a lot of fucking balls. Pulling that shit. That's all I'm saying.
Shit's getting real. So we then get this coke-fueled ending. One of the most iconic 25 minutes in film history. Sosa sends a small battalion of hitmen to take Tony out. And Gina comes into Tony's office. And she finally realizes that he has this unhealthy relationship with her, and she begins to shoot him while offering herself up, and she gets shot by one of the hitmen, and that's when shit starts to go down. The hitmen finally get to his office, and he loads his assault rifle, fully equipped with grenade launcher, and starts blowing shit to high hell, but not before the classic line of all time.
Say hello to my little friend!
This is just gratuitous violence.
Yes.
Ridiculous action.
Yes.
And it's fucking amazing. And I'm here for all of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Every single round fired out of that gun, it was a drop of drool falling from my mouth. It was fantastic. It still holds up.
Yes, absolutely.
And and look, I know there are a lot of people out there that start shitting. I mean, you can shit all over this movie. Fine. That's not why we're watching it. This is not Gone with the Wind. It's not Casablanca. That's not why you're invested at this point. However, if you are not understanding that this guy's snorting mountains of cocaine, Mount Everest, Mount Kilimanjaro levels of cocaine into his system, and is taking round after round after round into his body and still standing. If you don't understand that,
yes,
get the fuck out of your house and go live.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
That is the most realistic shit.
Yes.
Of this entire part is him just taking round after round going, come on,
dude.
Fuck yeah.
You want to talk about, you know, iconic
Dude, he's the
lines.
goddamn Terminator.
He is the Terminator. He's the Cuban Terminator. You talk about favorite lines, iconic scenes, iconic lines given in this movie. My favorite line. I use this line when I've gone out and played paintball. I've he's taking all these shots and he's yelling, you know, like, come on, come on. And then he gives the, I take your bullets. One of my favorite lines in this movie is that line, because it's this coke fueled, I can't feel shit at this point. Like my whole body's numb. Like my central nervous system is all fucking out of whack. Neurons are firing everywhere. And whatever you do, you can't touch me. And then we get the hitman coming up from behind him here and shoots him in the back with the shotty. And Tony tumbles into the pool in his foyer.
Which is the most cinematic splash
Yeah.
I have ever seen, because and I had to think about the physics of this, because the water that splashes out is just, it's blood red.
Yes.
Right? So I'm like, well, how in the fuck? Like, he's still falling. He just hit the water. The hole in his stomach from that double barrel shotgun literally had to spill all of his blood and guts
into the
pool right as he went in, right before that. And just splashed up all that red fucking water. It's a beautiful shot. All of the colors around it.
Yeah.
It's also fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And again, I'm there for it. Also, real quick. Hi, Hitman. Uncle Corey here. You don't need the sunglasses at night. Take them off, jackass. They don't help. They don't hinder. Just take them. You ain't Jim McMahon.
I'm going to disagree with your PSA for once.
Oh yeah? How many fucking people have you killed at night with sunglasses on?
Let's not discuss. But it looks cool as shit. So
let me tell you
I'm going to
go
ahead
and... are too button-lipped with everything.
Hey, I don't air my dirty laundry in public, okay? This looks cool as shit. Practical as it may not be. It looks cool as hell.
It looks amazing. I'm not talking to movie hitmen. I'm talking to real life hitmen who in real life are about to kill another real life human being. If it's at nighttime, don't wear fucking sunglasses.
Still looks cool. I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree.
Members only jacket, definitely wear, because that blood washes out easily.
That gets a 2 thumbs up. But we get the end. He splashes into the pool. You get the whole wide shot, and then the shot of the world is yours statue. End of movie.
And I was laughing here because you see a couple of the hitmen starting to walk around and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, what do you do? Like, do you go to Denny's after that? Do you just go to the airport? Like, what do you do?
I'm glad you laughed at the end of this, because I did too, because I don't know if you noticed or if anybody out there noticed, but when you get the wide shot from like the ceiling, and they're starting to like go in, and you see the guys like walking towards Tony's body, you know, it's all these Bolivians is what I'm assuming they are, that were, you know, hired to kill Tony. And then there's one dead white guy at the bottom of the stairs. It looks like a bunch of either Bolivians or Cubans or whatever, and then Corey sitting at the bottom of the stairs. Like that's what it looks like. And I laughed my ass off. I was like, who was the one white guy that's like, yeah, I'll kill Tony Montana?
Hey guys, can I be part of your hit squad?
You're not gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
This is, again, I'm so glad this was requested. Yes. It's amazing that we didn't just do this on our own without a request. That it took us this long to do it. But dude, this movie is fantastic. Al Pacino does a great job. There's nobody in this movie that doesn't do a great job. Like,
totally.
Michelle Pfeiffer crushes it. Al Pacino crushes it. Robert Loggia crushes it. Like, all these guys, and even Stephen Bauer. His performance is probably one of the most underrated in this movie.
I like the movie still. I really think it is enjoyable. I think everyone did a fantastic job. And again, I'm not looking at this like it is the Cuban American experience in the 80s.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not for that movie. This is about greed. This is basically Wall Street, but for the drug game.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is.
No, that's and at least in this, with Scarface, and like the difference between, and for people that are offended, I am not. There's obviously, you and I have talked about this. There's obviously been 100 Italian American mafia movies and TV shows and yada yada, where there's no lesson in there's no lesson in Godfather. Come on.
Right.
You know what I mean? It glorified the mob, and this is what the mob was. It was a true life story to the mob. Scarface at least has the mother is the hardworking immigrant who comes over, doesn't appreciate people like Tony who give, Cuban Americans a bad name, who are coming over and trying to, live their American dream. And so you have that piece of it. You have people in the drug game, like Frank Lopez, who's trying to keep everything quiet and copacetic. Like, let's just keep everything here. We can all make a little bit of money. We'll all be rich. We just won't be billionaires. Like, you have him, and then you have Tony, who wants the flash and the power and the money and he wants all of it. The world is his, and we see how that ends up. When you want everything and you want to be out front, especially in the drug game, this is how it ends. There's so many lessons and storylines in this movie that make it great.
You were right.
But that's all I got for that's all I got for this. Do you have anything else?
No. Coming up, we have Blown Away, Corey Haim and Nicole Eggert. We have Tango and Cash. And then we have, I don't know if you remember this movie, dude, The Wizard with Fred Savage. And then I think we're back at it with Collateral. Ton of requests for Collateral recently. Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise. I hope that's it.
I hope so too.
I hope that's it, because that's the one I'm watching.
But yeah, if that's all you got, that's all I got for Corey. I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1983's Scarface.